So after reviewing the World Trade Center collapse, or the anatomy of the collapse that had happened, um, I believe that there are multiple factors that really contributed as to why the Twin Towers collapsed, not just simply because of the fire, but other factors as well. So my first factor that I believe that caused the collapse in general was the building construction itself, being that how it was a tube type of construction. Like a way to kind of relate that to the fire service is like, what to say, like balloon frame construction, and how like houses are built in one solid tube with chases running up and down the entire walls. It's kind of similar, but not exactly. So the way the Twin Towers were constructed is there was a solid core in the middle, followed by a surrounding wall on the outside, with a very wide open floor plan. And after watching the video, they had a scene in it where a engineer had the floor plan out and discovered that the length of the 706 Boeing plane, its wingspan, actually covered the entire center. So I believe that contributed heavily as to why the building collapsed and where it hit initially. But that's not the only reason why. They also, because of the explosive force behind the plane when it initially hit the two towers, caused some of the fire resistive protecting around the steel to completely disappear, therefore making the steel more susceptible to heat strain and allowing the steel to bend and melt in any which way the load of the upper floors kind of deemed necessary. So as the explosion happened, there's many fires that ensued in result of that. One of the firefighters discussed in the video saying that a normal hose line can cover roughly about 100 or about 1,000 square feet or so, and then the floor plan was about 50,000 square feet. So there's no way like a couple hose lines is going to make any differences to the fire in the structure. But yeah, once the fire had reached a good temperature because of the fuel from the plane, it melted the trusses that supported the floor plan around the center core. So being that the outside walls, or the four sides of the building, and the inner core were made of solid steel, and the floor plans were actually only held up by lightweight metal trusses that were connected to brackets on either side of the core and the outside wall. So if anything failed first, it would be the trusses, and after the trusses failed, then the weight of the building above the fire would have shifted in different ways depending on what had been destroyed underneath it. And once one floor of that building has, I'll say, deteriorated enough, then all of the weight of the upper floors are going to come crashing down, creating more velocity as it goes down, hence resulting in the collapse of both towers.